working at chairs.
Cheers. Come sit with us. Let's talk about yoga.
It is for everybody.
Whatever's going to keep bringing you back to the mat. A little bit of philosophy. Talk about poses. We have a lot of laughs. We drink a little.
We're just real and authentic. Come as you are.
Real authentic yogis that want to talk to everybody.
Everybody.
Come sit with us as we talk about yoga.
Number 10.
Well, I'm out of fingers now.
Yep.
So
next one, we're pulling out the toes.
maybe pull out a toe, girl. You can.
And I'm going to take my socks off. I'm hot. So number 10, we're going to continue on the Yamas and the Yamas.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk nonviolence. How do you say it?
Ahimsa.
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 I've been working on my Sanskrit.
Which is number 1. So it's our first jewel, according to the Yamas and Yamas book.
Because we did them out of order because that's just who we are.
And that's fine. Yeah.
It
just felt right in the moment. Like,
yeah, that's what we talk about, like our intentions and stuff for classes. A lot of times it's what we're going through or it's a lesson that we're learning at the time.
Right.
And so last week when I showed up, like that's what was on my brain because I was kind of going through at the time. And then when I showed up, you started telling me a story of something that happened. And I was like, well, that's perfection then. So, yeah.
But yes, we're going to do cleanliness. I really do. I love this. I took this home. What is this?
Satya.
Satya.
Cleanliness.
I'm going to name my next dog this.
Satya. They're going to be the dirtiest dog.
I know. That's okay. I just love it. It does. It smells clean. I did delete a lot of stuff off my phone. So we should have hello space. Satya. Okay. All right. Now we officially started on time. Thighs. Quads are sore. Okay. Ahimsa. But yeah. And then this one and next episode too kind of blend together. But we're going to start with nonviolence.
Yeah.
So what is nonviolence?
Don't kill people.
Don't
punch people when you're mad.
Yeah, don't be mean. Okay.
I mean,
it's not even really be mean. It's
those are the most.
Just don't cause harm.
Yeah.
To others or
yourself. That's the harder one.
That is definitely the hardest.
So, I mean, obviously, when you say it, nonviolence, right? That is what we're on, right?
It is, yes. So nonviolence.
Ahimsa. So, yeah, the first thing that always comes to my mind is like physically harming people.
Right.
Which I don't have a problem with. I don't do that. So, again, like when I was in teacher training, it was like, check. I don't do that. I don't do that. And I try really hard not to harm people with my words too. But it really asks you to take like an internal scan of how you may be harming yourself.
Right.
And that looks a lot of different ways too. So like that negative self-talk, how you talk to yourself is harming in a lot of ways. And then also like routines that you put yourself in that are not beneficial to you, they're harming to you, things like that I always come to. I mean, I've been at this work for many years now. And I find new layers all the time where I'm like, okay, I do that every day. Why do I do this every day? That's harmful to me. But
it's causing this ick internally. Why am I in turmoil? Not necessarily turmoil. I mean, it's kind of like a straight to the other side, but what is irritating me throughout the day?
Yeah.
What is causing this violence to build up inside of me? And it can totally be, well, there's just something awry or just not aligning with you throughout your day.
So what generally happens is, especially with the internal stuff that's going on, is, we tend to, or me, I'll say me. I don't think everyone is the same as me, but this definitely shows up in my life and did for a very long time. I would get irritated. My feelings would get hurt. Things would continue. And I just stayed quiet because in my mind, that was being nonviolent. I was choosing, I didn't say anything. It was just go along to get along and everything's going to be fine. So I wouldn't say anything about it until I couldn't not say something anymore.
Right.
All this anger will have built up by that point and it was so bottled up. So it would just explode out of me. And then I did the most violence.
Right.
I did the most violence.
Hurting others, hurting yourself.
Yes. Yes. So really it starts within. And if you can really master not harming yourself, practicing nonviolence with yourself, everyone in your life will reap the rewards of that.
Right.
Because when you feel rushed, when you are impatient, when you feel overwhelmed, like all of those things contribute and I filled my own plate for the day, right? Like I filled my schedule for the day and I overpacked it. That's on me. But I'm going to make everyone else pay for it because I'm short with everyone and I'm snippy and I don't have kind words to say to the people around me because I have filled my schedule so compact that I'm stressed about it and overwhelmed, and then everyone pays for it.
Right.
So that violence is no longer just within, although
it's not just yours anymore.
It's not just mine anymore because it will show up throughout the day. Like, you idiot! Like, why can't you get this done faster? Why
yelling at people, driving down the road.
Yeah. So like, it starts with like being violent with myself. Like, I'm an idiot because why did you even do this to yourself? Why did you put so much in one day? Why can't you get it done faster? You stupid. Why can't, that's the narrative. That's the realness. That is the narrative.
For real, yes.
That comes up in my head. And then that will in turn come out. It's everyone else's fault.
Right.
Well, why were you 5 minutes late? Why couldn't you have gotten that to me faster?
Exactly. Causing that violence with other people because we're doing it. We start projecting that violence onto others. And I mean, that's the same thing whenever we start feeling, less than, or we're like, oh, well, we're not. It kind of comes back to we're not, for me, good enough, or, well, I'm just not that smart, or, just saying they don't necessarily sound violent at the beginning, but it's harming my soul, and my belief in myself.
But think about if someone was to say those words you just said.
Right.
If someone said them out loud to you, you would feel they were violent.
They would be violent. They would hurt. They would be not nice.
Hurtful.
Yeah, they'd be hurtful.
So that it really ties into what we've talked about before. And I love to bring it up often because it takes a long time to really, truly wrap your head around it.
Right.
That the thoughts in your head, they are not you.
Right.
You are just pure consciousness. And it really starts with being able to notice what's happening around you, like in a room of people. We talked about a dinner that we had recently and you were like, I just want to sit back and observe.
Right.
And how much you learn just observing.
Right.
Right. It's easier to start there, just being in the midst of chaos. And it wasn't even a bad chaos, but being in the midst of things happening around you and going, I'm not actually a part of it. I could choose to be a part of it. I could choose to play into this and check into the conversation. But in actuality, I am my own being over here. And I can just sit and observe what's happening around me. And you can do the same thing in your own mind. It's just harder to find. So the better you get at mastering that in the world around you, the better you get at mastering it with you.
Right.
And I think it directly aligns with this because a lot of the violence that we have with ourselves is the thoughts that we have, the negative self-talk, the thoughts that come up when we're frustrated, when we did our best, but it wasn't as good as we wanted it to be.
Right.
Things like that, when they show up, those thoughts start getting real violent with us, telling us we're not worthy, telling us all of these things that are not true.
Right.
And you can either choose to buy into it and agree with it, or you can choose to step back and go, I'm just aware that this chaos is happening in my brain right now. I don't have to join in and also be violent.
And that's it. As we were kind of looking through these books earlier and we were talking about it too, just how a lot of that stems from fear and worry.
Yeah.
And whenever we're able to recognize why are we in fear? Why are we fearing anything at the moment? Why are we worrying? And it results in, being violent towards ourselves. And then eventually, like being violent and spreading violence all around us.
Yeah.
And that just never, I don't think that ever is beneficial for anyone.
Yeah.
Well,
I think road rage is a great example.
Yes.
Right? Because you can't control other people on the road.
No.
You can't. And there are some idiot drivers. There just are. I just look at it and I'm like, am I going to let that ruin my day? No, I'm not. But there are some people that, someone cuts them off in traffic and you didn't have an accident, but it was a close call or whatever. And they get explode about it.
Like way more than just
explode.
kind of maybe cursing them out in your car.
I mean,
they go beyond.
Because for me, like the majority of what's going to happen, I was like, well, yeah, you go right ahead. There was plenty of room. I wanted you to be, but also I don't want it to ruin the rest of my day. And I think I've experienced enough people that I've watched that happen. Like you had no control over the people on the road. Just like in life, you have no control over what other people do, what they say, how they live. You can't control any of that. You can only control you.
Right.
So if you are someone who is in traffic and someone cuts you off or it was a close call or whatever, and it ruins the rest of your day or even the next couple hours, you're so angry about it and you're speaking violence out into the over and over and over again.
Right.
For what? That's how I guess I look at it. Like I can't control what you're going to do. I can control how I react to it. So I might get a little peeved. I'll use that word. I might get a little peeved. I love that word. I get a little irritated, but then I'm going to let it go. Because to me, like I can't control that.
Right.
So I'm not going to let it ruin the rest of my day either. Because then I've given all control over to that person.
And it's why? And there's no. I say that to some people, very few people. Why give your power over someone, they're just living in their own violence. And that's the cool thing about like us who are on the outsides of the violence, right? So someone is, and it kind of comes down to, I used to say this a lot, like bullying, right? That's violence. People who bully, and many parents who have either experienced bullying with their children or been bullied or however, I'm sure everybody's experienced bullying in some form or fashion. And the best way that I used to describe it is, unfortunately, the reason why someone is bullying is because they're being bullied.
Yeah.
And so as the bully, as someone who's being the person who's bullied or the person who is an act of violence, right? We have the choice to no longer share that violence with others.
Yeah.
Right? Because we could in traffic or being a bully, we could take that on and we could carry that violence with us. It leaves that person and comes to us, and we have the opportunity to either break it there, like, no, I'm not gonna let them harm me because I don't want to harm anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's awesome because we really do have the power, which is so wonderful. I think about the Yamas and Niyamas. When you start looking at, nonviolence, non-stealing, like we talked about last podcast, I was just in module. But the greatest thing about all of these is we are in full control. We have the choice. Are we going to continue to live in this, or are we going to make a change and no longer do this to ourselves or others, or not allow it to affect us?
Yeah.
Because we can allow others to harm us.
Yeah.
And it's easy to let other people harm us, right?
And I'm not going to lie, like sometimes it is really hard and it feels unfair. That's the word that comes to me. I've said that out loud several times. Like when someone is being very ugly, they're angry, right?
Right.
And they're being very ugly to me. And I am trying to remain calm and speak from a voice of reason. At a certain point, it feels unfair. It is unfair that you are getting to like spew all of this on me, and I'm not spewing back on you. I am trying to treat you like a human being and be kind and compassionate. I'm trying to be understanding, and you just keep spewing all of this stuff. And I've experienced that many times where it feels unfair. It's unfair.
Yeah.
Like I've worked really hard to be nice.
Right.
That's how.
And non-violent.
And non-violent. And so I've experienced that. And what I always have to come back to is all I can control is who do I want to show up as.
Right.
And I don't get to control the other person, and I don't get to change the narrative for them.
No.
I can only choose who do I want to show up as. And it's not that.
Right.
That's not who I want to show up as. What you're spewing at me, I don't want to be that.
No.
So I'm going to continue to show up for myself and be who I want to be. And if it gets to a point that we're just going in circles or it's too much, I also don't have to take that from you.
No.
I get to step away kindly and say, I don't have to take this from you. Let's meet back.
Right.
Let's revisit. Let's talk when things are calmer for you. That's a way of it's a way of being nonviolent with myself, that I don't have to sit here and take your beating from someone.
Yeah.
So being nonviolent doesn't mean what did it say? I felt like it said something about being a sissy, but it's not the word that they use.
No.
It's how I took it. Doesn't mean that you have to be a sissy, basically, is how I take it to
Well,
me.
no, I really like this one too. I like these two things that I highlighted. They kind of go with that, but I think what you're talking about is in this.
It asks us to trust the other's ability to find the answer that they are seeking.
Because I think that's sometimes like why people get so angry. Like they're trying to figure out what they've got going on internally or what's going on, all around with the situation.
It was most definitely about,
I think it was this one.
maybe, because it was definitely about, like, it's not to be confused with. And I just, in my interpretation, was like being a sissy. You don't, that doesn't mean like someone gets to be mean to you and you just have to sit there and take it.
No, and you do
It's not
know.
what that means. But I have walked away from many conversations and I tried to do it as kindly as I could. I want to revisit this. I think it's important that we revisit this conversation. But I also am not going to stand here while you just spit venom at me.
And I don't think you should. I mean, that's setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And boundaries is a way to not be violent with ourselves. And not allow other people to do harm
But
to us.
when you really dive into this one too, it talks some also about, sticking up for others that you see being harmed.
Yeah, not allowing harm to ourselves or others. I mean, that's just really what it boils down to and that's harm in so many ways. Because if you see harm being done, well, we don't want that. No, I mean, and that's probably why I don't like to eat animals, because I'm just like, they're beautiful creatures too. I don't know. That's just me personally. But and then they say that in the book. But I mean,
that's
okay. Yeah, and it's you see something that's wrong or that you believe is wrong, and that's what it is. I mean, it's your belief of what is harm, what is not harm.
Yeah.
And if you see that, then why would you allow it to continue to happen?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially whenever you're having venom spit at you as well, sometimes when we don't create those boundaries, that venom, that violence, that harm that is being told to us or yelled at us or spit at us, we start taking it on.
Yeah.
And it becomes our own internal dialogue and our own violence with it. And that's nice.
Well, lack of boundaries is a big violence that we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying about when, like, you have a routine that isn't productive in your life, like, you're doing that.
Right.
So it's the same method of, if you know something or someone is harming you and you don't set up a boundary against that, you're causing harm to yourself immediately.
Right.
And you're choosing to do that every time. So then you're not showing up as your best self for the people in your life either, because it's going to spew back out.
Right.
The energy that you have within will come back out. It's like that line that I love about, you don't expect to put red paint on the wall and it be blue. So like, whatever energy you have within you, if you are ugly to yourself, if you speak unkindly to yourself, it is impossible for you to speak love into other people.
Right.
So whatever you have within, that is what is going to come out. So if your internal dialogue is, I'm not good enough, I am a bad person, I like all of these
Violent,
nasty
words,
harmful things, you're viewing the entire world through that filter, and it will spew onto everyone else.
That's it. It is. And it's so cool whenever you start talking about seeing harm done to other people, because some people might have that filter, right? And they just like, well, that's just the way the world is. But it takes one person coming into your life who is like, no, they're going to be the person who acknowledges that harm is being done to you, and they're going to stand up for you, even whenever we don't think that we need to stand up for ourselves. And sometimes it takes one person or, whomever it may be to be like, no, this is harmful. Why are you allowing this violence into your life? into this sacred space, that you hold. And I think that's magical that someone would take that on, and create something within, be like, no, that's not right. Not actually right. That's harmful.
Now, the key is to remembering all that when something is said.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
But that's where that internal dialogue, really understanding, setting those boundaries. Oh, well, I remember, that is violent. The way you're talking to me is violent. The way I'm talking to myself is violent. It's harmful.
Yeah.
Does it feel good the way that I'm talking to myself? Or does it make me feel bad? That's not okay. And so if it doesn't feel okay whenever you're saying it to yourself, why would you let someone else say it to you? How would you vice versa?
I think too, like if you are someone who is unsure if the way that you speak to yourself is unkind or harmful, I think a really great way to go about that is when those things start coming up, ask yourself, would I say that to a little child? Would I say that to me at 5 years old? Would I say that to who's looking at you with these doe eyes? Would you say, if you wouldn't say that out loud, why are you saying that to yourself?
Right.
Because that little kid inside of you, it's still there.
It's still there.
And you're saying it to them every day.
Yeah.
So like when I went through teacher training, I think everyone deals with negative self-talk. That's just part of life, right? It comes up. It ebbs and flows depending on where you're at in life. I think everyone can understand that. They've experienced it at some point. But when I went through training, I went through with a woman that I had never heard it so bad. I had never seen self-talk like so bad. And it showed up out loud over and over and over again. And they asked her to make a mark on her wrist with a pen. Every time she said something negative, and she wouldn't even catch it. We would catch it and be like, another mark. Like,
Wow.
And by the end of the day, she had so much, and it was just like this epiphany for her. She had no idea how bad it had gotten because it was so common to her. That was just normal conversation.
Right.
And I remember asking her, like, would you say any of those things to your daughter? She was like, heavens, no, I would never say that. Why are you saying them to yourself?
Why are you saying that to yourself? Yeah.
Every opportunity that you get.
Right.
Why aren't you speaking love and belief into yourself then? And I think for a lot of people, that's really where it starts. It's really the internal violence.
Right.
And I mean, I don't say nobody because there's obviously a lot of people out there that are violent with others, but it is a manifestation of what's happening
inside. Yeah.
And so, but I think even some of the kindest people that I know struggle with that internal dialogue of being violent with themselves. And so I think that's where it starts. And the rest will take care of itself. Like if you learn how to be nonviolent with yourself, I won't say it's impossible for you to be violent with other people, but it won't be, it's not even in your thought process anymore because you're not violent with yourself anymore. Why would you be violent with other people? It's harder to be violent with other people than yourself. So
it's easy to be hard on self.
Yeah. Before you would ever say it out loud to someone else.
Because sometimes you're like, why am I saying that to that person? Or, oh my God, how dare you say that to that person?
It's a direct reflection of how you treat yourself, how you hold yourself.
And it's so true. So true.
Yeah.
No violence. And that's it. I feel like we could talk about it on so many different ways, but I feel like we hit the nail.
Suppose we're
nail on the head.
I gotta pee, so.
Yeah. All right. So nonviolence, which honestly leads perfectly into our next segment.
Which, surprise, we're going to be wearing the same clothes.
Same clothes!
Because we're gonna record this right after this.
Yes!
Because your girls go in on weekend getaway next weekend. So, not the whole weekend because I have teacher training, but
still.
But Friday.
We all deserve time away because not violence.
Yeah.
But,
so we see you here next week, but for us, it's going to be about 2 minutes in the same clothes. We'll see you again for episode 11.
11.